All right, all of you that like to build muscle and strength and look awesome, I'm about to blow your mind. There is a particular type of contraction, a particular type of lifting that produces the fastest gains. The fastest gains, and I guarantee 99.9% of you are not using them. We're gonna talk about it right now. 8 ways Isometrics will give you the fastest gains you've ever seen in your entire life.
If you're tired of us talking about these,
anytime we can bring it up.
Hey, listen, until we go into commercial gyms and see a small fraction of people doing them, then maybe. But it's like we're going to continue to beat this drum, to scream from the rooftops, like how impactful and valuable isometrics are, because you still don't see it.
No.
It reminds me, could you imagine 25 years ago being the person that's trying to convince everybody to squat? Like, you got to squat. It's so valuable. It's so valuable.
So
like,
many benefits. It's just like, come on.
25 years ago, the squat racks were dusty and nobody was doing it. It's obvious now. Everybody gets that. But it's like, here's your other hidden gem, Isometrics.
It's not just a hidden gem. If you look at the data on isometrics training, in particular, the overcoming isometrics, the type where you're pressing or pulling into an immovable object, they produce the fastest gains in strength in a short period of time in comparison to any other form of strength training. Mm-hmm. They're faster than reps that are positive, faster than negative, faster than explosive. Like, there is no form of strength training that compares if you were to do this for like a 5 or 6 or maybe 8 week period of time in terms of strength gains. Yeah. This is the fastest way you could possibly gain strength. And what's beautiful about this is that nobody's doing them.
Yeah.
Nobody's taking advantage of them.
Least amount of damage, the safest to apply, the easiest way for you to ramp up and, maximize your muscle recruitment process. So it's like, to be able to have, more force output, like there really isn't another method that does that as effectively.
Now the question people always ask is, okay, cool, the data shows that it's the fastest gains in strength, but what about hypertrophy? Comparable. So what you'll get with isometrics is very, very quick ramp up in a short period of time of strength or force output. And the hypertrophy gains are similar to traditional reps. In other words, you're not going to lose gains by doing a 5-week block of isometrics. You're going to gain just like you normally do, except your strength is going to go through the roof. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't think I need to make the case, but I'll just spell it out for you. With those the new additional strength gains that you made in that 5-week period, let's say, now you could go back to your traditional lifting and you blow the doors off of what you would have been doing before. Yeah. It's incredible. By the way, this was a favorite way of training for old time lifters. Back at during the Bronze era, this is like the turn of the century, right? Late 1800s, early 1900s.
Sandow and all them.
They were competitions. There were people, there were men mostly, there were some women that would go around and they would do these feats of strength. And this is how they would make money. Some of them worked in circuses, but many of them would do these feats of strength on their own. And it was all about what you could do. Remember, this is before steroids, this is before supplements. They just had weights. That's all they had. In fact, they didn't even have benches. They had barbells and dumbbells, and that was it. And they would go and do these incredible feats of strength. Eugene Sandow, I believe, one arm bent pressed over 250 pounds. Something ridiculous at a body weight of like 180 pounds. They had incredible looking physiques, especially when you consider that they were as natural could be. They also oftentimes had hard labor jobs. It wasn't their full-time profession. And this was a favorite way that they would train, because in those days, if you wanted to be a successful, presentation competitor, if you wanted to be a successful strongman in those days, you had to put up or shut up. Mm-hmm. And they would oftentimes challenge each other. So they would meet up and say, okay, let's see who could lift the most weight. So it was like, look, it's all about what you can do. And what they found was isometrics were super effective. They were so effective, in fact, and so popular that some of the first strength training books revolved around isometrics. And now they fell out of favor probably for a few different reasons. Like modern equipment came into play, bodybuilding became popular, and and by the way, there's nothing wrong with full range of motion. If you had to compare all of them, that's the best, right? But what's happened, which is a total travesty, is that nobody does this.
Yep.
Nobody does this.
We have no patience. That's
Not only does nobody do this, nobody does this ever. Nobody even plays with this. In fact, if I did a poll of all the millions of people that could potentially be watching this, I bet you less than 0.01% have ever done a training block.
No, definitely
of just isometrics.
Definitely not.
It almost never
we
happens.
don't even, Sal, we don't even watch movies anymore. We watch TikTok reels. I mean, talk about a major hurdle for us to get people to try to do this in a time where instant gratification and faster, quicker everything. Isometrics is slow and boring. It's just a fact. It's not
doesn't have that built-in reward after your
well, like what are you doing? If I made a video of it, it just looks like I'm doing nothing.
Yes, you're just boring. You're sitting still. You're not moving. It's almost as if you're not doing anything, although you are doing something. It looks like you're doing nothing, and the discipline, the patience required to actually run a full training block so you could actually reap the full benefits. I mean, I could see someone doing it one time in their workout, like, oh, let me try this. And it's like, but to do a legit block. I mean, I remember when we were riding Symmetry, and I remember Justin wanted to make the whole first phase
like
isometrics.
3 or 4 weeks.
And I remember my pushback on it was like, I just don't see anybody committing along. In fact, I believe if we could just get them to do 2 weeks, they'll see enough benefits from it that they'll understand why we did it. But if we do a whole block of 4 weeks, these people
they won't even follow it.
They won't follow it.
No,
fall off.
No, which is why we have to sell it. So let's get into selling it. So, and this is all backed by data. If you don't believe me, look it up. So this isn't just our opinion. This is like it's actually a well-studied form of strength training. There's lots and lots of studies on it. So number one, it will recruit the most muscle fibers. So whenever you're doing a lift, there's a certain percentage of muscle fibers in the muscles that are being worked that get recruited. And as the exercise becomes more difficult, you recruit more and more muscle fibers. Training to failure tends to recruit more muscle fibers than training at 50%, okay? Mm-hmm. Nothing recruits more muscle fibers like a hard isometric. Against an object that you can't move. Like, what does that look like? Well, it would be like me getting under a bar, towards the bottom position of a squat and trying to squat it up, except the bar is anchored to the ground. It's not going anywhere. Because you're putting maximal intensity and because the muscles aren't actually moving, they're not going through a range of motion, they're just pushing, the body recruits more and more muscle fibers because it thinks
there's no limiter.
It thinks you're trying to do something to protect yourself.
Weights are a natural limiter.
Yes.
You're only going to recruit and generate enough to overcome the load. And when you remove that part of the process, like really it's the limiter is just your own effort. Mm-hmm. And so to really squeeze, that extra bit and produce more effort, it's going to stretch your capacity now to recruit even more muscle fibers then. And so it's an interesting thing because I don't think people realize how powerful that is when you go back to actually lifting weights.
You keep that ability.
You keep it.
Yeah. I remember, I don't remember what we called it or, how it came to be, other than I was hanging out with these older bodybuilder guys. And they used to take, like, this was back when I couldn't even bench 2 plates. They would take 3 plates, and lift it over, and
you just had to hold it.
Yeah, I just had to hold it, and I wasn't going anywhere. Wasn't taking a negative or anything like that. It was just like, just hold it there. And I remember being scared to death. Like, I can't even do 2 plates. What am I doing with 3 plates? Just trust me, But I do remember how I felt afterwards. I mean, then 2 plates felt controllable, and it was crazy how they did it to me in squats too. I felt like those 2 things really got me over a hurdle in those 2 big lifts in my early 20s that I just couldn't imagine getting past that. And, looking back now, understanding now the science more is like, oh, now I understand what I was doing and why it benefited so much from it.
It's the closest you could ever get to 100% muscle fiber recruitment is with an isometric. And here's the beautiful kicker. This works for everybody. So the thing with muscle fiber recruitment is the more advanced you become, the easier it is for you to recruit more muscle fibers. So an advanced lifter, they've trained their body to be able to recruit more muscle fibers just through adaptation and practice than a beginner. But with an isometric, everybody gets pretty damn close. As long as the effort is there, everybody gets pretty darn close. So again, there is no type of muscle contraction that will induce this type of muscle fiber recruitment regardless of how experienced or inexperienced you are. Which takes us to the next thing. Rarely do you see something that is super effective and super safe.
High benefit, low risk.
It's almost never that way. The most effective exercises typically have a high degree of skill, so that puts their risk factor quite high unless you perform the exercise really well. Like squats, barbell squats, like phenomenal lower body exercise. It's like one of the best, if not the best. It's also very technical. Like a leg press is way easier to do. This is true for almost every strength training exercise. Well, guess what? With isometrics, you have simultaneously extremely effective type of movement that's also very safe. Now, why is it safe? You're not moving. So long as you maintain your position and drive, you're not going to hurt yourself, or your odds of hurting yourself are very, very low in comparison to other forms of exercise. In fact, isometrics are oftentimes how you rehab people with joint issues. And then again, you take someone who's advanced, who's never done these, they're like, let's do these, and they get incredible gains. Like rarely do you see that combination, but you do see this with isometrics.
Great tool for trainers too, with clients with an advanced age. Like or rehabbing, right? So to your point, rehabbing or advanced age clients, you get massive benefits and super safe to do.
Yes. Today's program giveaway is Maps Anabolic. If you want to win, leave a comment below this video in the first 24 hours that we drop it. Subscribe to this channel. Turn on notifications. If you win, we'll notify you in the comment section. Also, right now, flash sale, Maps Performance is 50% off, half off. One of our most popular Maps programs. Head over to mapsperformance.com. Use the code ATHLETE50, that's ATHLETE50, for that discount.
All right, real quick, if you love us like we love you, why not show it by rocking one of our shirts, hats, mugs, or training gear over at mypumpstore.com. I'm talking right now. Hit pause, head on over to mypumpstore.com. That's it. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Now, here's one of my favorite things about it is it can target weak spots of a rep very easily. We all have these. Think of your favorite lift. There's probably a sticking point, right? Once you get it past that sticking point, then the weight moves up. So like in a bench press, it might be near the bottom. With a squat, it might be near the bottom. Maybe it's a lockout with your deadlift. Some people pause there, have a difficult time there. Maybe it's just coming off the floor. Well, guess what? You set up your isometric in your weak spot, and you're going to blow past that weak spot. You will make that weak spot a strength within weeks. Within 3 or 4 weeks, your sticking spot with your squat or your deadlift or your overhead press or whatever, within 3 weeks will probably become a strength. Then you go back to do your lift and suddenly
train your central nervous system to respond at those like weak points. It's very doable.
That's right. And powerlifters, by the way, have done this for years. They just pause. They do a form of isometrics where they pause, and they'll pause at the bottom or they'll pause at a particular part, whatever. And then some of them do these, where you're overcoming isometrics, which is the most powerful version. But yeah, if you look at your rep and you're like, man, I can't get my deadlift to go up. Really, it's not that you can't get your deadlift to go up. It's more like I can't get it to go up past this point. Once I get it past that point, I'm all good.
And you're talking mainly about performance too. Like, I mean, this is where like mobility really shines as well. Like, so if you have a range of motion that you can't achieve because you have a weak spot there or a pain, signal to now like take that point of where you either lose connection or you're just about to get that pain signal, and you just stop and pause and apply an isometric hold and recruitment there. Watch you all of a sudden immediately get pain relief. Or immediately gain new access to range of motion.
I didn't even put that as a point, Justin. For pain relief, isometrics shine. I used to do this with my elderly clients all the time. Knee pain. I would put them in a position either fully contracted.
That was my wizard move.
Yeah, either fully contracted or even fully flexed, depending on the person. I'd have them drive while I pushed, so they just create resistance, no movement. Then they'd stand up, pain's gone.
Yep.
Look at the data on this. Isometrics have this incredible analgesic effect and strengthening effect for pain. And Prime Pro is all about isometrics, by the way. You go through our
really
Prime Pro program.
That concept,
It's incredible. Here's a great selling point that I know people will love. You have a lagging body part, nothing better than isometrics. Yeah. Part of the reason why you have a lagging body part is you just can't connect to it very well, especially when doing compound lifts. you're doing a squat or a bench or whatever, and there's a target muscle that's just not doing the work. Get into that position, that hard position, drive into something that's immovable, focus on the target muscle, and drive for 20 seconds. Try this for a few weeks. This is your chest workout, let's say. Go back to your traditional way of training. Suddenly, lagging body part no longer is a lagging body part.
Especially in the contracted position.
Yes.
Right? This is Ben Pekulski. I remember the first time I talked to him about this. Like, he made an argument that he believes, especially if you actually train those muscle groups, right? That if you had a lagging body part that was really weak, he said always that person was not very well connected in the contracted portion.
Yep.
And his experience is like, if you just focused on that you brought that body part up so much. And so if it's a lagging body part, think about doing isometrics in the contracted position on whatever muscle we're talking
it's so
about.
funny too, because I think we knew this instinctively as trainers. You get a client, it's like, I don't feel my butt when I do squats. Like, what would you do? You put them at the top of a hip bridge.
Yep, hip bridge and hold the top
and just squeeze the hell out of your butt.
Yep.
And then suddenly, when doing squats, they can connect to that area.
Yep.
Next up, it translates very well to traditional reps. The strength gains you get in isometrics, when you go back to your traditional reps, there's the strength. It's not like you get stronger with force production in an isometric and then you go lift weights and you don't see that translate. You will see strength gains across the board, especially if you target the weak parts of your
Why
rep.
do you think that is? Because it kind of flies in the face of like the SAID principle, doesn't it? Because it's not specific to what you're doing. So why is it that we see that with isometrics and not really anything else?
If you focus in particular on the weak spot of your rep, so whenever you do an isometric, there's about a 20-degree both directions that you'll see it carry over. So let's say I'm at the bottom of a bench and I'm under a bar and it's loaded with 600 pounds, so I can't lift it. So I just drive into it. Yeah. I'm going to get strength in the position that I'm pushing in, plus 20 degrees above and below.
Yeah, both ends.
So if you target the weak spot of your rep, you know what your weak spots of the reps are.
Yeah.
And you focus on this. Then you go to your traditional lift, and that, because whenever you can't do a lift, I'm going to say this again, like whenever you can't do a lift, it's almost never the whole rep. There's like one part. And if your buddy's spotting you, they help you out of that one part, and then suddenly you can lift the weight. You get stronger in that one part, the entire rep becomes much easier.
Up.
Yep, that's it, 100%. Next, it doesn't require as much recovery. Doesn't cause a lot of damage. Yeah. You don't get very sore doing these. This allows the adaptation to really take place. Another plus with this, and I'm going to say this, I think it's better if people just do a whole block. I want people to really feel the power of this. But you could, if you're not on the border of overtraining right now, if you're pretty smart with your training, you could add some isometrics and you're not going to really tax yourself that much and just see some benefits. So you could add a couple of them. By the way, at the beginning of your workout would be the best place to do it, not at the end. People tend to do them at the end, do them at the beginning. Yep. Next, everybody knows about this. When you try something novel, you just get great gains.
Yep.
I can't think, if I thought of the entire fitness community, people who worked out consistently, and if you had to pick, Sal, what's the most novel thing they could possibly do to build muscle? It'd be isometrics. That would apply to almost everybody.
Well, yeah, because
nobody does it.
Oh, yeah. The
So
reason
easy
why
to
I brought
apply.
this all up, how we started this, is that go walk into a commercial gym and point out how many people you see doing isometrics. You rarely ever see it, and so it's going to be a novel stimulus for most people. The truth is, and we wrote Symmetry this way. So if you're inspired by this, Symmetry is such a good program to follow if you've never followed that. But knowing what I know now about isometrics and the value of it, and seeing how we programmed it in Symmetry, I probably as a trainer would have really benefited from starting most my clients all in a isometric phase. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The challenge of that is those clients who don't understand this, and they're just like, wow, I'm paying this guy for me to just stand here while I squeeze and hold it.
Conveying the benefit and really getting to buy into the concept.
Yes.
Well, the big problem is this, Adam, and I think Justin tried to solve this when he had created his tool, is when you're driving into a bar that you can't move and you get stronger week over week, you can't tell because the bar doesn't move.
You don't get feedback. You don't have like a tangible metric that you're sort of
nothing tells you, you produce 50% more force. The time you can tell is when you go back to your traditional lifting.
Only anybody created like
someday it'll be relevant and like everybody will be like, oh wow, yeah.
Remember we talked about this in the podcast at one point when isometrics they will come into favor. Eventually the people will know, and then it'll become popular, just like squats. We're just You were 20 years ahead of your time.
I was way too early. And the thing is too, like you can apply this without anything. You don't need tech. You don't need like, and so if you have, and what I love too, if nobody's ever seen this before, it's just a chain that's bolted to a board. And so you could do this on like like let's say it's a deadlift platform and like you step on top of this board and you bolt the chain. Yeah. And now you have a handle grip and you can adjust the chain to whatever height. So let's now work, let's say it's a deadlift and I need to work on, the lowest part of the deadlift and you could set it up and really, get so much out of that by applying like this torque and effort.
Old school gyms used to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. My old school gym that I used to work at used to have a setup like that.
Yeah. If you have a home gym, even what you could do if it's in your garage is you could put 2 anchors into the concrete, attach chains to it, and then you could put your bench underneath it. You could stand there. And it depends, you can make the chains long.
You could use the safety bars on the squat rack.
You could also load it up real heavy and just use that.
Yeah. You could use the safety bars on the squat rack and do the same. You could raise those. And to your point with the deadlift, you figure this is your sticking point this far off the ground. You put the safety bars there and you put the bar underneath it.
It's funny because I might have told you guys, like I got to the point even with this invention where I presented in front of Apple. And I'm in this big meeting and, they have all the tech and stuff with like the closing the loops. And so they were all, privy to try and like work on human behavior and like, how do we get them engaged and all this kind of stuff. So they were somewhat mildly interested in, but one of the guys was like, kind of compared it to Bosu ball. Like, here's the thing. Nobody knew the value of like balance training. Like that had to be something that you build and develop into, the consciousness of society first. Like they have to like understand like this is something that is really beneficial and is something that like people have seen it before. And like, so it really has to be a cultural thing for people to really buy in to that type of training. Cause it's just so like, well, why?
That's right.
Why do I want to do it?
As soon as some people do it and then get blown away and post the results, then it's going to start to fly.
That's 100%. It will. I believe it will. I mean, 25 years ago, we all talking about squats. Nobody was questioning why nobody was doing it in the gym. It was just kind of the norm. It was just like, oh yeah, nobody really does them. We leg press instead. We hack squat instead. It's like there's stuff. They're like, yet we now look at how many people tout the deadlift, the squat, and it's just like so. I don't know. I think there'll come a time when, all it takes is the right famous person at the right time to share something like that. Imagine Phil Heath during his, 8 championship run or something like that, attributing it to his isometric training.
Yeah, it would have blown up.
Oh, it would have blown up. I mean, then every
magazine pick it up.
Yeah. So it's just going to take that. And then if people go actually truly apply it, I mean, it's like what we see with symmetry when the clients actually go through that phase, they're always blown away by, oh my God, I can't believe how well that worked. It's like, it's pretty powerful.
And last, the data shows this is where isometrics really blow the doors off of things. For tendon strength, it's the best. Yeah. It's the best. Now, why tendon strength? Why is that so important? Why? So I don't tear a tendon or whatever? Yeah, but let's talk about strength for a second. When you see an athlete or a strength athlete, and we've all seen them, right? Where you look at them and you go, how is it on earth that person can lift that much weight? They're not even that big. That's like a 160-pound guy. He's deadlifting 550 pounds or that. How is it that some people just
we used to call it wiry
are so much stronger than they look? There's a few different reasons, but one of them is their tendons are incredibly strong. It's like steel cables. Oftentimes what limits your strength isn't your muscles, it's your tendons. Because if your body senses that the tendon cannot support the muscle,
this can be a governor.
There's no strength. There's no strength there because you're going to injure yourself. Tendon strength, dare I say, is more important than muscle strength when it comes to performance. Oftentimes it's the limiting factor. And if you have tendons that are like steel cables, you are strong. You are very, very strong. Yeah. So, and again, the data shows it stiffens and strengthens tendons like nothing else.
Do you think that also plays a role in the point that Justin made that you added, which was what it does for relieving pain too? You think that has a factor there too?
The analgesic effect has more to do with literally releasing pain relieving chemicals in an isometric. Also with how the central nervous system then starts to communicate with that joint.
it provides security around the joints, so that's the feedback it's getting. But yeah, it does release chemicals.
Yes, pretty cool. All right, we got a new partner I'd like to talk about.
I saw this and want to talk about this.
Yeah,
because
Doug, pull them up so we can look at the macros. I want to be specific with this.
First of all, for the audience that doesn't know this, we've shared probably maybe a handful of times in the past whenever we've had a new partner. So the process in which a new partner comes on here is ran pretty much by Sal. Like Justin and I have just opted out of
He's the gatekeeper for sure.
Yeah, he's the gatekeeper when it comes to the science and does it align with our values and everything that we do. And so he normally approves. Then I go with Katrina. We negotiate contracts. It's kind of the. So we got these protein pretzels that came in, and I loved them. The staff loved them. Everybody was eating them.
Well, staff was gobbling them up.
And Sal kind of poo-pooed them at first. And I was like, oh, man. And I get it because I know that they have gluten in them. And so, but I was so bummed because I really liked them. My son liked them. Like they sent us cases over. We ate them all up. I saw the staff eating them. And then now I see them on there. So something has opened your mind a little bit to allowing them to be a partnership with us. And so I want to hear what was the change of heart? Did we just guilt you enough?
No. They offered a lot of money.
I know it wasn't that either. I'm the one who negotiated the contract. It wasn't even a big money deal.
We've turned down a lot of partners because it didn't work. So it does have gluten, and one of the main ingredients is wheat, and I'm sensitive to gluten. However, they source their wheat from Australia, and they hydrolyze the gluten, which for many people allows it to be tolerable. Plus, not everybody's sensitive to gluten. Okay, so a good majority of people are actually not sensitive to gluten. There is a sizable minority that has to stay away, but a lot of people can eat gluten, especially if it's well-sourced wheat.
So that was my argument on why I felt like, come on, we have to be open. I get that you can't, and so understandable.
But I had a bag. I felt okay. It didn't feel like I ate a bag of
bread or something like that.
No, I didn't feel like that. Really? I felt okay. I didn't have more than one bag. They tasted really well. They were really delicious, snack.
I mean, like they're lower on the calorie for 26 to 28 grams of protein.
Okay, so what does that say, Doug? This is a bag of their protein pretzels, and
I haven't had those. The Flamin' Crunch.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, so it's 200 calories for the bag and 26 grams of protein.
Of protein.
Yeah,
of protein. And how many grams of fiber?
Let's see here, 10 grams of fiber.
10 grams of fiber.
Yeah.
So it's a high fiber, high protein snack. Yeah. Now, here's the thing with snacks like this. Like, they taste good, hyper palatable, could make you want to eat more. We've talked about that many times. But it's so high in protein, so high in fiber. I think if you're going to grab a bag of something, it's a good choice.
Even two bags is 400 calories. Now you're eating a 50 plus gram protein snack with 20 grams. Macro wise, taste wise, and so if you're not gluten intolerant, this is an incredible snack.
Yeah. And even if you have a mild intolerance, I'd say try them because of the. So you've heard people say this before, right? They're like, oh, I go to Europe or I go overseas, I have the gluten and it doesn't bother me.
It's a little bit of a different effect.
I think there's difference. I definitely think there's a difference. Yeah. So anyway.
I'm just glad that you were open-minded enough because I know originally it was like one of those.
Well, what sold me is I had the staff try it. I put the whole box out there.
Yeah.
And I told all the trainers to say, hey, you guys try these. Let me know what you think.
They're big fans.
I came back the next day and they're like, it's delicious. It's really good.
No, they're awesome. So I'm a fan. So I'm excited. I'm glad. We'll see how our audience receives it. I hope it's something that they all like as much as I liked, but I thought it was pretty cool. It was actually connected to somebody too who we interviewed, I want to say in the first 100 episodes.
Keto Head or something?
Yeah, it used to be his handle. I don't think that's his handle anymore.
Keto Head?
Yeah. So do you remember?
Yes, I do.
I remember him. It was at the Spartan race.
Yes, it was at the Spartan race when we were doing all those interviews. I don't remember what year that was. Early on.
That was like 7 years ago, maybe.
Oh, at least that.
Probably 2017.
Oh, wow, even longer.
Oh, yeah. Wow. It was early Mind Pump. It was well before this studio. It might have been at the last studio. So it was a long time ago when we did that first Spartan thing.
So I got a study. I'm going to change directions. I got a study that, and I think you guys are going to know the direction I'm going with this, but I'll tell you guys about the study. This was a large analysis. There was a lot of people in this study. And what it found was that individuals in the underweight category were almost 3 times as likely to have died than individuals with a BMI towards the top of the healthy range. But here's the crazy part. Individuals with a BMI of 40, so now you're obese, okay? People who are categorized as severely obese had a lower rate of death than people who were underweight.
For what though? And just in general?
Overall. So overall mortality. So people who are underweight have a higher mortality rate, slightly higher, which you wouldn't expect. I wouldn't even expect it necessarily to be the same as people who are obese, severely obese.
I mean, okay, so these are all going to be, or mostly, predominantly advanced age people. Somebody who is carrying themselves, underweight, malnourished, is at a higher risk than somebody who's carrying extra body fat because they have extra sources of fuel and energy.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that crazy. I mean, this is one of those situations where you can look at a study and you can get it kind of twisted on what you're really reading into. That's how I'd read into it, is that you've got, let's just say, for make it easy, 100 people, 50 of them are, and they're all old. They're all 80 plus. And you've got 50 of them are obese and 50 of them are underweight. I'm more afraid for the underweight 80-year-olds than I am the overweight 80-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean, so this is what this points to for me. So when I see this, people are so aware of the dangers of being obese, and rightly so. There are lots of health issues with being in that upper category, that I think we don't, although naturally when you see someone that's underweight, it's like, oh man, you don't look very healthy. I think it can push some people in the wrong direction, or at the worst, or at least I should say, they're just not aware of their own mortality risks because they're underweight. So it's like, oh, I'm not obese, but it's like, well, you're underweight.
Well, okay, so take that 100 people again too. What happens when an equal percentage of each of them get a cancer? The people that are underweight and malnourished are going. They're going to die so much faster than the person that has, because cancer is going to eat away at the body. You have so much extra body for them to eat at, so you're going to sustain a little bit longer than that person. Also,
but this is all cause mortality, meaning they had heart attacks.
Right, it's all in there, right?
So what we're looking at is under-muscled. Yeah. That's what we're looking at. What we're looking at are skinny, under-muscled people. You're better off, by the way. The data is clear on this. You're better off being overweight and strong than you are being underweight or lean and weak.
There's a bit of a very positive narrative from that, though, which is, even if you've never mastered diet or got a hold of your habits with eating, if you just lift weights.
That's right.
If you just lift weights 2-3 times a week and get strong.
Huge difference. That's right.
So to me, it's actually really exciting. Good news is positive. It's that, because the diet part is by far the hardest part.
Oh yeah.
Every client you've ever had that's ever been challenged with weight loss or getting in shape is always the adherence to diet, to figuring the macros out, to being consistent with protein, all the things. But getting them to show up to my appointment that they paid for was never that difficult.
Yep.
In fact, most clients always showed up. I rarely ever had people no-show me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just made an effort, whether you
just show up and lift,
show up to see your trainer and lift weights 2 times a week, and greatly increase your chances.
That's it, 100%. But here's the part that it points to for me. We are entering into this dramatic culture shift with the power of GLP drugs, right? The first generation, second generation, third generation. And what's happening, and there's people reporting this, they're going on them under eating because their appetite's destroyed, right? It's crushed. That's part of what they do. And then they're coming back with sarcopenia or osteopenia. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys,
not preserving muscle.
If you just lose a bunch of weight and you don't strength train, you may be trading one problem for another.
Yep.
So, and we in some cases glamorize being underweight because we're so aware of the negatives of being obese. But if you go on these medications and they crush your appetite, which sometimes they will, especially if you go on a high dose, you got to lift and you got to not undereat to the point where you lose lots of muscle. Because yes, you're losing weight. And here's the other part of it. Your blood work may actually show you're healthier. This is the other thing. if you look at diabetes and heart disease, there's a substantial minority. And I say substantial because it's a big percentage representing millions of people who seem to have good blood work, but then suddenly they get diabetes or they get heart disease, and it's like, what's going on? I'm not overweight. I'm skinny. What's the big deal? You don't have protective muscle. You don't have protective muscle, and that's part of the problem. So I get strong and be active. That's like number one. That's number one.
Well, this is why we have so many trainers in the fitness space that are, screaming from the rooftops about GLP-1s to a detriment, in my opinion. Like, I think that this thing has a tool. It is a tool and has value, and the right person using it correctly, I think it can be life-changing and super beneficial. But like anything else, when abused, when not used properly, now it becomes dangerous.
I think if you use these,
I still stand by my original stance on this. Was if you go back far enough when we first got introduced to this, and we were all kind of talking about it and debating it, even when we knew very little, I believed it would be a net positive. I think it will be. I still believe that there's more people that are suffering from it. Now, what makes me worried about it is that if the thing that we talk about that is so scary and dangerous, obesity, is less about being obese and it's more about being under-muscled, well, then that kind of flies in the face of my thought process, and I might not be right. It might be a net negative in this situation, because if we are mostly under-muscled, and that's more of an issue than us being obese. And a majority of these people, because that's what will happen. Very, very rarely will the people do it correctly and do it. A majority of people will do it incorrectly, which means a greater percentage of them will abuse it, won't hit protein, won't lift weights, and they just lose a bunch of weight. Well, they just lost a bunch of muscle too, and so we'll be in a worse situation than what we were before.
That's right, because what you have doctors prescribing them, which I get it. It's a medical intervention, but doctors don't understand exercise. They're not trained in it. They're not supposed to, right? They don't understand exercise. They don't understand nutrition, especially when it comes to building muscle. And, they take, I think, a semester of nutrition.
It's just like a one-size-fits-all still.
I think if you go on a GLP-1, you need to work with a trainer, period. Yeah. If you're somebody that I know, and you're like, hey, Sal, I'm going to go on a GLP-1, I'm like, only do it if you hire a trainer. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to be a good idea for you. Yeah.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with that.
Anyway, I'm going to give you guys a little update on my daughter's lifting. Remember how I had that debate with her?
Oh, yeah. What's the latest
over my program? Yeah. She's like, this is not enough. How am I getting gains on this? It's not getting enough volume.
Imagine that.
Debating. She's getting stronger every week.
Oh, that's dude. Is she like loving it or what?
Oh yeah, dude.
Turning into a believer.
I'm calling her Mini Sal right now because she's getting all into it. I mean, just last night we were at home and I took her phone away from her for a separate reason, so she didn't have her phone with her. But she doesn't miss her workout, dude. So she's like, I see her get her headphones, get everything, go back there. She's like, hey, can I at least listen to the music on my phone? I'm like, all right, you can do that. And she goes back there and she's lifting and I'm like, are you tracking how much you're lifting and stuff? Are you getting stronger every time? She's like, yeah. And I could see it too on her. I could see that she's building some muscle.
Now, is there, interesting
it's so cool.
Interesting that you're getting a front row seat of that while you're simultaneously doing this series that you're doing on YouTube right now. Is there any part of you that is reluctant to her excitement around this?
Oh, she has to go through the journey of developing a relationship with it. That's proper. Thankfully, I'm there to help guide her, and I got to be real careful and smart or judicious with how I try to influence her. Because again, with your kids in general, like it's very hard to influence them because they're more influenced by their peers. Luckily, however, some of her friends listen to the show. And so they're the ones that are like, oh, your dad is, and so that's helping her be like, oh, maybe I should listen.
Okay.
But she's seeing the evidence now. But yeah, Jessica and I talk about this and she's like, I think she might be, is she going to get obsessed? Is she going to,
right.
Like she probably will. Mm-hmm. She probably will go too far, get a little obsessive. I remember there was a one point where she this was weeks ago, she got sick, so she couldn't work out. Then she went back and her lifts went down and she was like so mad. I can't believe she's like, super pissed off about it. And so I was in there with her, talking her through it, talking about muscle memory, and this is normal, and this is what happens, and you don't always go for, progress. But she's going to go through that process, and I'm just going to try and be there for her when she's open to the conversations around it. But this is a journey, but like, you guys know, you get into this, you're going to go through the process of like.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was so curious to how you handle it. Because obviously when, the tendency that a parent can do sometimes when they is to overcorrect, right? You do that way, so then you go the other extreme with her. And so I feel like you have a level of awareness around that you won't do that. So I was just curious to like how you're navigating that of like the balance of standing back, letting her have her own journey, but then also knowing like keeping a close eye, because it's like, I want to be able to insert myself or be there for that conversation when that does happen, right? So that's got to be probably
and it's cool too, because we'll be hanging out, and then she'll look at me, she'll like, Papa, watch this, and she'll flex. And my heart just swells. I'm like, oh, this is so great, dude. I always had this dream that I'd have like these lift sessions, with my kids one day. You know what I mean? So we're not there yet, but I'm sure at some point, it'll be fun.
I mean, I can only imagine that'd be like Max coming out and wanting to shoot the ball around with me. I feel like that's like, I still wait.
And you're trying to hold in the excitement.
Yeah,
you don't want to overdo it.
Totally. I could totally see how.
It's rad when it finally happens.
It's so fun.
Yeah, I just had Everett. He just started his lacrosse this weekend, and so it's his first real like practice and just like learning the skill of it and everything. And I get the one thing that stood out to me was just how inviting and friendly that community is, because
Really?
I think it's because it's like not a thing here really.
Oh, so they're trying to make it popular.
Yeah, like it's like an East Coast kind of sport, and
such
like
a dope sport.
It wasn't around. Like I totally would have got into it when I was growing up, but it's just it's so what he needs. Like he puts on. He's like he has all the pads and everything, and he puts his helmet on. And he's like, Dad, I feel like a weapon. I was like, oh no, he is so my kid. Yeah. And I see him out there, and then what was great was the coaches. Like it wasn't just like. I thought, they'll probably work on their handling, stick handling, and like, passing and, some shots on goal, whatever. But they did that, but they're like teaching them defense, and they're bodying up against each other. And they're like, already the physicality of it was like, it's so great, because it's hard to find that at this age range as well. And like for it to be, something that he's like involved in. So I was like stoked just watching him like getting exhausted, and just like physically, smashing into everybody else.
That's so cool, because at his age now, most places have converted over to flag football, right?
Yeah.
So like contact football at his age is not even
it's not really a thing. Yeah. A lot of the and I looked into it, like Pop Warner and all that, and it's just it kind of died off in our area. I really didn't want to. I didn't get to do it. Like I played football when I was a freshman. That's my first introduction. And so I was playing soccer up till then, like getting red cards and yellow cards.
I just want to hit someone.
It's just this weird drive. Like you just, I don't know. Like it's a violent tendency, But
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear how he does it if he's into it. Like because I think it's a cool sport.
Yeah. It looked like he really enjoyed it. So.
Aren't the roots of lacrosse Native American? Wasn't it a Native American game?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is that right?
I believe so.
I didn't know that.
If I'm not mistaken, it was like a Native American.
I mean, it's like
game.
football meets hockey. I mean, it's super cool like that. I mean, I think that's
it's harder than it looks too, because my daughter played it.
Of course.
And she's like, here, try to run with it. And I'm like dropping the
exactly.
everywhere.
Cradling it.
It's a fast game too.
It is.
I mean, it's pretty exciting to watch. So.
I wish we had something like that. We didn't have that in our neck of the woods.
No, and it's hard to find other schools that play. North American indigenous peoples as early as 1100 AD.
Wow.
Known as what?
Stickball.
And didn't they like Highlight was like from Mayans, right?
I don't know.
Something like that. Like I know it's down in South America. It's a big sport, but that's like where they throw the ball like a crazy, like I don't know if it's like 150 something miles an hour. It's like insane.
What's that sport where they have that? It's like it looks like a long
There's
hook,
a scoop and you throw,
and they whip a ball. It's like the
that's
fastest.
Highlight.
That's Highlight.
Yeah.
How fast does the ball go?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's like.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's like crazy fast.
It's like hundreds of miles. It's more than 100 miles. It goes fast.
It's
maybe faster.
I think it's the fastest ball sport.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be right.
It is.
I mean, they definitely throw faster than a pitcher throws a ball. So it's like.
Yeah, look at
because of that whip.
JAL.
Yeah, JA
150.
Up to 190.
Oh, see? Yeah.
190 miles an hour?
Can you imagine getting hit with that?
No. That would kill you.
What is the ball too kind of like a lacrosse ball? Is that what
It's
they
he- it's-
It
it's
looks
heavy.
like it. I don't know.
what they're whipping?
Like somewhat hard.
It's an Olympic
rubber.
sport, isn't it?
I don't know. It feels like a wealthy sport. I always feel like it's like a rich.
Yeah, it's like
Really?
up there with like polo. And,
Yeah, dude.
Really? It doesn't look like it to me.
Okay, well, tell
not
me
a lot-
where
Was
you're
it?
gonna go.
Where's it popular in Brazil?
But I mean, it's not like a
Maybe Spain.
like polo. Polo is that? I mean, 'cause
Well, yeah, 'cause
it's
you
a
have to have a
club and
horse.
horses and like okay, that totally does to me. You know what I'm saying? But or like fencing. You know what I'm saying? That's up there. But I wouldn't have thought of that as like a
I
really.
think it's a wealthy sport. I think if it's considered a sport that like upper class, whatever, originated in Spain. How'd you know, Doug?
it said Basque region.
Oh,
So
so you go.
he knows things.
He's got the Google.
I have the Googles here.
I found a study that is getting popular on social media, so I can't wait to talk about it because there was a study in 1993 or 4 that came out about this, and of course, when I was a kid, if I saw anything that looked like it would build muscle, I'd try it. Yeah. So there was a newer study, and so people are circulating. So taking 5 milligrams of melatonin before a workout will dramatically boost growth hormone production in the workout. Something like 150% higher. Okay.
Really?
Yes, because melatonin downregulates something
is the body fighting against it? Almost?
No, there's something that I can't remember what it was, but it lowers something that controls growth hormone. So when you work out, growth hormone spikes anyway. When you take melatonin, you get this much larger spike of growth hormone. So now as a kid, in the 90s, and anything that said hormone on it, because I'm like, ooh, it's going to make me jacked. It sucks. If you want to be sleepy in your
I was
workout.
going to say, it seems like that would be awful.
Yeah.
What's crazy too in the study, they're like, it didn't affect performance. Baloney. I've tried this so many times.
Right.
You take melatonin before you work out, sucks. It made me so like,
It sounds like, it's the opposite of what we do, right? Like you take caffeine to get jacked
Yeah.
on one, like take some melatonin. That sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah, I don't know who
You'll
could
be
do this.
stimulated. It's like
Trust me, I've tried
The
this.
same people who
sleepy
smoke weed
doesn't
before they
sound
lift
great.
weights can
No,
do
it's
that.
worse than that, dude. Trust me, I've
that's
tried
good
it.
for stretching. It's-
I've tried it so many. I was stubborn about it at one point. So I'm like, growth hormone, this is gonna make me huge. And I was like, this
melatonin.
sucks, dude.
So what's the
bad.
new study? Is there a new study?
Yeah, the study came out, showed it raised growth hormone like 150%.
Oh, okay. So this is you remember this back in the 90s.
Yeah, so when I saw the study-
and so it's coming out. It's making its way.
Yeah, and I saw people sharing it like,
Of
oh my
course.
God, this is crazy. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like,
yeah, go apply it.
try it, bro. See what you feel like.
Take your
much
melatonin
weight can
pre-workout
you
and
lift?
gummy bears afterwards, and let me know how it works out.
Oh,
Go right to bed.
yeah, it totally sucks.
Oh, it's so funny. Did you guys see? I saw some. Since you're talking about funny stuff, this. Okay, I don't know if you saw this. We all kind of follow different stuff. This is in the car world. There has been a guy for 4 years now that has been documented driving an F1 car on regular highways.
What?
Yeah, it's
How do
like
you do
it's
that?
like an Instagram phenomenon too. That people have like somebody who owns an F1 car or actually has one of these is driving on main roads and has been for like
Hasn't
4
been
years.
pulled over?
4 years he's gotten away for 4 years.
Try catching him.
Oh, yeah.
And so they, but it's been this kind of phenomenon that everyone catches it, posts on Instagram, and then sharing it. And so just
such a
recently,
trip to see
he's
that.
been arrested, and he was. They finally caught up with him, and I think they had like a big standoff where like a helicopter and like they cornered it. It was a big deal. Oh, there you go. Doug's pulling it up right now. Yeah,
Phantom Ferrari driver.
Yeah, 51-year-old guy does it.
Yeah. Wow, dude. Have you guys ever?
Is that
It's too
hilarious?
bad he got caught.
Could you imagine like on the freeway on 101 over here, and all of a sudden like an F1 car pulls up right next to you?
That's so dangerous. Yeah. And so
I mean,
expensive.
kind of-
Aren't they like $10 million?
They are really expensive.
What? That much?
F1?
Yeah, I don't know about 10 million, but they're
Look up how much an
No,
F1
he's probably
car costs.
right. 10 million is probably right.
I think they're like, I know they're millions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. 10 million. Maybe more. They might be
look it
20
up,
to
Doug,
30
'cause
actually.
The engineering that goes into those cars is like a fighter jet.
Yeah, put up average price of an F1
Yeah, I mean, they
car.
look like it.
12
12 to 20
and
million.
12 to 20 million.
What's
Wow.
even
So I was talking
crazier-
about a used one.
Damn.
What's crazy is they've always got two of those on
crazy.
hand and they wreck them all the time. And so you're like, so you want to talk about expensive sport.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
That's
great.
the-
Have you guys ever?
You know what? You know how speaking of since we're talking about F1, like how unique that is too. There is name another sport where there's only 20 total athletes in the world.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only one. There is only 20
fencing?
F1.
How about the one where they jump with the squirrel suits?
Oh yeah,
that's probably
they die.
Oh,
all
that's
the time,
why.
dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, but they
those
die all the
numbers.
time. That's the highest death rate. But there is only 20
That documentary is
F1 car
crazy.
racers in the world.
You know how skilled you have to be.
You have to be the most skilled to even get there. Like you can't just go, oh, I want to drive F1 cars. You have to work your way all the way up all the cars.
All the different classes.
Yeah, the classes to
Are the
become-
classes like? Is it like F10, F9? Is that what the F1 is?
No, it's different names.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just guessing.
Yeah. No, it's different. It's different. But you have to work your way all the way up before you're even a possibility to make that. So there's not a lot of sports to say if you're actually just playing in it, you're top 20 in the world.
Have you guys ever been in a situation, either personally or seen it? You don't have to give yourself, rat yourself out, where you saw someone literally outrun a highway patrol or police officer. You ever seen that? I saw.
yeah,
it.
I saw- it was a
you know, it's hard to
motorcycle.
say is if I've seen it for real or I've
They
just watched
took
so many
off,
clips of
dude.
somebody.
I saw
doing it on a bike.
I saw a guy in a Hayabusa.
Yeah, I think I've seen it on a bike.
And I saw the lights turn on, and he was gone.
yeah.
The car, the highway patrol turned his lights on. That guy was gone.
Yeah,
gone.
Those
dude.
street bikes is going to be the easiest to elude.
I mean, I bet
man.
you there's a pretty solid percentage, I bet, of people run on those bikes. I bet a higher percentage they probably want to admit and talk about. You know how like the bank robbing thing is like an undercover thing?
That's
that
what
nobody-
I always think about. Yeah.
Like the bank robbing thing is something that
they don't want to ever put those
they act like it's so rare, but it's like, oh, that's because 50% of them get away with it. So they don't want to
Is
talk.
that the stat?
Yes. 50%
Half of bank robbers get away.
Yeah, but here there's a caveat to that. Listen, the average dollar amount is like chump change.
What do they pull?
Because they only keep so much in the registers. So that's including everybody who just does a quick stick up, give me what's in the cash, and then they run out. So that guy gets away, but he gets
they don't
away
get
with
the vault.
He gets away with
Yeah.
$5,000. You know what I'm saying? Something like it's crazy when you hear like what some of these bank robbers get away with. Like you risked that for that, like that's crazy.
Half my family works in banks, and a couple of them have been in a bank that's gotten robbed.
That's how frequent it is.
But it's never like the movies, like where they come in with the mask.
No, it's never like
It's
that.
always like someone comes in, they hand them a letter.
It's
then they
ruined my
hand them the money.
commute twice. Like there's been people that robbed bank here in San Jose and then drove up through to get to Santa Cruz and have like taken all the side roads and they're like closing it off. This happened twice. I was like sitting on the side of the road like waiting.
I mean, it
until they
happens
caught them.
all the time. It happens a lot, and they just don't report them. They're not going to. They don't want people to know that 50% of the time they're getting away with it, or else more people would do it.
Yeah. So I got to mention one of our partners again, because oftentimes we get people on the show who we're talking to who are on the borderline of like too much stress. And so their workouts aren't working. We're talking about them about their sleep. We're trying to find a way to get them to apply the right amount of stress to induce adaptation, but not too
Mitigate
much.
their stress.
Right? And so oftentimes I'll recommend, well, not often, sometimes I'll recommend a supplement that'll help with that. Ashwagandha is always at the top of the list.
Yep.
It's the most supported by the data. It does, literally does help your body adapt to stress. If your total stress was at 100, using ashwagandha with the same amount of stress would lower its impact on your body. I'm going to use arbitrary numbers, but down to like 85 or something like that. It actually does make a big difference. It's why when they do studies on ashwagandha, athletes will gain strength and muscle on them. Not necessarily because it's like this muscle builder, but
just
rather
need to-
their body can adapt better to the stress. And Organifi green juice has an efficacious dose of ashwagandha.
Yeah.
Plus all the other micronutrients. And I don't know why I don't think of recommending that specific. It's green juice. I forget it's got ashwagandha in it.
Yeah.
But it's one of the best supplements of all of our partners. If you're like one of those people that's like, man, I keep feeling like I'm overtraining, I'm burnt out. Like, what can I take that'll help? The green juice.
Well, remember I told you guys just the other day, the last time we talked about Organifi, I brought up the green juice because I took it as, trying to be preventative before getting sick. And I just forgot how good it feels to do that.
Yep.
Like I want to get in the habit of like making that like the first thing I drink in the morning. I've made a habit of drinking caffeine, coffee or a Celsius or whatever. I'd like to see the difference if I make an effort to do that and see if I notice the benefits. Because I noticed it when I drank that day. I was like, oh my God, that feels so much
Yep,
good.
I'm implementing it again in my routine too.
Yeah.
Probiotics have documented data-backed benefits. Like they improve your gut health, obviously. They reduce inflammation. There's also some fat loss effects, helps your skin and mood. You probably know this already, so you're probably wondering, which probiotic should I go with? Seed. It's the world's best probiotic. Go to seed.com/mindpump. Use the code 25mindpump, get 25% off. Back to the show.
First question is from RLE 1987. When limited for time in the gym, should I prioritize more sets, less rest per exercise, or fewer sets, more rest to maximize muscle growth?
It depends on the person I'm talking to. Oftentimes, so this is a general answer because it really does depend on the person, but oftentimes focus on the big lifts and leave out the other ones is what I would say, generally speaking. Now, that being said, none of the things that you asked are bad. Sometimes speeding up the workout is great. Sometimes doing just a lot of sets of one exercise is great because you don't have to switch movements. Other times you do less of the total exercises so you can maintain the rest periods. It really depends on the individual. But generally speaking, if you're the kind of person that's super, super, super consistent and pushing it all the time, then just focusing on the core lifts and cutting out the others is probably beneficial.
I'm glad you went this way because I totally agree. And the way I was going to word it was they're all tools, and ideally try and use all of them.
Yeah.
Now, what we don't know is the rest of the story, meaning let's say the same person asks this exact same question, and depending on the context, i.e. what are they currently doing in their life, that may look different. Like, for example, the underslept, doesn't hit their...
Like, why do you have less time?
Yeah, exactly, right? So the underslept, overworked, high-stress person, I'd say, oh, well, let's just do less exercises and focus on a couple of the big lifts and get out. Like, that's all you need to do. That would be more appropriate. But let's just say it's just a random day because, but your stress level's good, your sleep is good, you eat well. Hey, like sometimes there's a huge benefit in shortening the rest periods and doing a kind of faster paced workout. In fact, this is how I've always communicated this on the podcast. I've never intentionally did these like circuit type training, but I've definitely circuit trained. And when I do it is like when I'm limited on time, when I have those random days that, oh man, I got to go to this appointment.
Rest periods.
Yeah. And so I only got a half hour to work today. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do today? Today I'm gonna no rest periods. I'm just gonna keep going through my workout. And because that's novel and I don't do it all the time, what a great idea. So it really depends on the context to give precise, but the truth is both are valuable.
Yep.
Next question is from Becca Fit. What's your advice for overcoming injuries, the mental and physical side? I recently tore my Achilles and had a great recovery, but the mental side was harder than the physical.
The mental side's always harder.
You guys remember this when I shared this?
Yes.
Remember how hard it was? Remember I told you that
like afraid to like stress it or push it.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how difficult. This is actually what got me back into listening to music again. Also got me back into listening to audiobooks. What I had to do personally, so this may or may not work for you, but I definitely, and it was an Achilles tear that actually threw me for a loop like this. I had to find something else in my life that I could kind of focus on that I knew that I loved. I love reading audiobooks. I love music, to occupy that space.
Yep.
And to make the books made me feel like I was progressing and growing and moving forward, even though my body physically couldn't do it. The music was something that was a passion that I loved to do, that was entertaining me and kept me in good spirits. And so I found attaching myself to two things like that didn't require my body to, like, I didn't need a healthy body to do either one of those things, and made me feel good. I didn't realize that this was going to hit me the way it did, but it took a toll on me. And I remember how powerful it was to find those things.
Like work on your relationships, like work on like other things going on in your life that you can kind of redirect your focus. Cause I mean, it's, you'll feel like you're at least like being productive. I know that's the hardest part, is when you get down for the count and it's like this injury is really limiting you from like feeling that you're moving forward, when in fact there's so many there's so many aspects of progress, spiritually, physically, mentally, that you can address. I think that it'll open up a space for that. So it's great advice.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't realize this until you go through it. It's like you have.
I didn't know until it hit me.
You have a major injury, and you heal. And you have a great recovery. So for all intents and purposes, like, wow, my knee is back to normal, or my Achilles is fully healed. But what we don't take into consideration is the fear, the mental trauma that it left. And I use the word trauma. People are like, oh, it's not that. Yeah, it is. I mean, look, you blow out a joint, especially doing an exercise and it's unexpected, or doing something that you love doing and it's unexpected. There's a memory there of what that was like. And so then you get fully healed, and then there's a fear there. And I've heard this so many times from clients, like, I'm scared to push it. I'm scared to go fast again. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't. And that mental side is just as connected to the injury as the physical side is. So when you look at the data on overcoming these kinds of fears, or any fear in general, one of the most effective strategies is known as exposure therapy. And you'll see this with people like scared of spiders or scared of balloons or whatever. So this is what it looks like for an injury. So you tore your Achilles, full recovery. For all intents and purposes, everything's back to normal. You slowly expose yourself to movements and exercises that challenge your Achilles. You expose yourself mentally to these movements and slowly rebuild confidence in the fact that you can go back and do what you did before. But it's frequent exposure, okay? Because if you don't do that and you're expecting to just jump back in, that fear will hold you back. That fear will hold you back from really pushing yourself, or worse, the fear changes recruitment patterns, actually makes an injury more likely. So it's very slow. So you tore your Achilles, okay, now it's fully recovered. You start with calf raises. Then you start with heavier calf raises. Then you start with jumping. Then you start with light running or whatever, right? To slowly move yourself towards the point where you can then exert yourself fully. But you have to rebuild that confidence. And again, the process is known as exposure therapy. And it does work, and it does take time.
There are people afraid of balloons?
Yeah, that's a real fear.
That's a real fear?
That's a real
Like
fear.
attached to clowns?
No, it's like there are people that you'll put a balloon
terrified of balloons
because they, for whatever reason, when they were a kid, it exploded in their face.
The exploding
and they're just
part.
scared of balloons.
I had a client that was allergic because of the latex, and so she got crazy over that. But
That's funny.
Next question is from the Matthew Holcomb. What's the best way to get back into working out after a surgery that put you down for 2+ months?
Slowly.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to the last one.
Very similar. Yeah, slowly. You slowly ease yourself back into the routine. For the physical purpose is to rebuild muscle and stability and strength. And then for the mental reason, to rebuild confidence. So it's just a slow process. There is no such thing as too slow.
Yep.
So take your time.
technique.
That's it. Slowly
Focus
work
on
in.
completely.
Slowly challenge yourself. And before you know it, you'll be totally fine. But the key word here is slowly. It's safe. And if you have muscle memory, because you used to work out, muscle will come back very quickly.
You know, the challenge is the same psychologically, but the opposite of what the last person that we're talking to is like. And I remember this was when I had my knee injury. I was so ambitious, and I was so like, as soon as I felt better, I was like, each workout I was trying to progress, and I was jump boxes by like 2 months later. I'm like, and then I re-injured myself, and it was so stupid because it was like I got competitive with how fast I was trying to come back, and that was such a terrible strategy. The better strategy, what you're saying, you can't go too slow.
No.
If you are
Just stay consistent.
yeah, if you're being consistent and you're slowly progressing, you're perfect. Like. This is trainers. This is common. Even some people with athletic backgrounds, where they have the opposite problem, where they are healed and now they think they're going to go right back to where they were, where they left off, and it's like that's a recipe for an injury again.
Next question is from Real Life Wellness with Jess. How can I grow an online nutrition and fitness business if I hate doing social media?
What's funny is people forget, especially with fitness. Okay. You could build an incredible nutrition and fitness business, even
the
online.
real world.
Yeah, without ever being on social media.
Yeah, you can.
I actually think this is going to make a comeback.
Doing it without social media?
Yeah, no,
I agree.
Yeah, I think that we've moved so much in this direction that it really opens the opportunity for the person that wants to do this old school. Yeah. Just go to your local community. So I suggested this. So we have a new trainer who's coming on board with us. And she was talking about her hometown. She has a one street, one light, hometown, like, a couple thousand people live in the whole town. And she was just like, how do you build a fitness business there? And I'm like, what I would do is I would start a walking group at 7 a.m. every Monday, or whatever, pick your day that you can do it, and do it for free, and walk downtown where there's only one street where every car that goes through there, they got to go through there, that everybody in town. And they start seeing this group, and maybe it starts with 4 or 5 ladies and when you first get it going, and then it's 10, and then it's 20, and then 30 people are walking with you, and you get a movement going on, right? And it's a free service, so it's easy to convince people to do it, and you're helping, you're doing a good thing, and then it'll just create this buzz in the town. And then I'm going to go work with the hobby shop, the local hobby shop, and the local grocery store, and and start networking with your community and doing things that, and you could become the fitness guru of the town. And that's just if you have a small town. If you have a big town, you have lots of opportunity and lots of these things you can do. But I do think that there is more of an opportunity today than there was 20 years ago, because that was the only way you built a business back in the days. And now Instagram and YouTube and Facebook is so is the way everyone tries now. It's like, dude, go.
It's funny you actually say that, because like Gary Vee was asked like a similar kind of a question. And it was mainly like he was talking about the need for people with human connection again, and that what he like thought might actually be an opportunity was to create like just a walking business, like I will walk with you for this amount of time, like they'd pay for him just to like chat with somebody and walk through the city and whatever. And he's like, and it's already happening, and it's interesting because like you can see how disconnected we've been, and how human connection, people are craving that right now. And so to add a bit of a fitness element to that, I would feel would be an easy combo.
Look, it's created, social media can be a powerful tool, so don't get me wrong, but it's created the illusion that that's the only way you can build your business, or that's the best way to build your business, even, is a bit of an illusion. If you took 2 trainers, brand new, that needed to build their business, and one of them hit the pavement, one of them went outside and talked to people, and the other one only stayed online, I would bet all my money that the one who hit the pavement will build their business faster, much faster. Yeah. Now, that's not to say you shouldn't do all of it, because if you're smart, you want to use all of it, but you'll build a faster business. When we started Mind Pump, I remember Adam would get on me about starting a social media something, because I had nothing.
Yeah.
In fact, my business had a website that didn't even work, and I built a 6-figure personal training business just being in my community. That's all I did. I would just go out and talk to people and do body fat test booths and do stuff like that. And it works, and it works faster. In fact, when I talk to trainers now, I say start there. When you start building something there, then do the online stuff to support what you've already built. It's actually a better strategy.
A way better strategy is to go hit the pavement and document that process.
Yeah. Yep.
But you don't have to. So if you're trying to do this with no social media, you don't have to. You absolutely can go build this without social media. But the easy way to do both is focus on the pavement, document some of that process, and when you meet people and you in real life and train that only one client that you have, the things that you post about on social media is related to helping that one client. And then it becomes 2 clients that you're helping. And so the 2 things that you're posting about are to help those 2 clients. And so your content online is really to serve your handful of people that you met in real life, and then you start attracting people virtually. That's the way I would build if I was building this thing all over again.
All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. Shredded, ripped, defined, single-digit body fat.
Yes.
You want to get there? Let's talk about it.
Difficult. And is it worth it? That's a follow-up question.
Yeah. First off, we got to say that, okay, so single-digit body fat, obviously, body fat percentages that can be represented by 1 digit, like 3%, 5%, 6%, 9%. That's ripped for men. For women,
add 10%.
Yeah, exactly. You go up about